Welcome to part 3 of our video series. We've covered some of the important issues prior to your hunt and during your hunt, so now we'll focus on what to expect after you return. Notify us when you return and provide us with the list of animals taken, as well as the full contact details for the taxidermist handling your trophies. We'll need this information so that we can follow up with them on the progress of your shipment. We'll review the species and advise if any special permits or clearing requirements are needed. If the items are dipped and packed only, we can determine if reprocessing by a USDA-approved establishment will be necessary in the United States. A customs broker is required to obtain a power of attorney and Homeland Security identification documentation in order to sign all of the necessary entry declarations on your behalf. Your Social Security number is mandatory. Customs does not identify you by your name, but by your importer number. And for an individual, this is the Social Security number. Identification verification documentation is a government or state-issued photo ID, such as a driver's license or passport, and a copy of your Social Security card. Once your trophies are ready to ship, the taxidermist will forward it to their designated shipping agent. This shipping agent will provide you with a quote for the transport costs. Be sure that it includes insurance, and if it doesn't, specifically ask that they provide you a quote for the insurance costs. You'll likely be asked to prepay the charges. However, some agents will allow the charges to be sent collect. In this case, we'll add the charges onto our billing invoice. You may be given an option to have the trophy shipped by air or ocean. Air freight is much faster, but it may be a little more expensive. Base ocean rates are cheaper, but you should expect additional charges in the United States for exam costs and handling fees. The transit time is also much longer for ocean shipments. Also, anything shipped by ocean vessel requires a security filing called the ISF or 10+2 rule. There are data elements that must be electronically transmitted to U.S. Customs 24 hours prior to the vessel departure. If you choose ocean service, you need to be sure that this is performed timely. Coppersmith can do this on your behalf. However, we will need all of the data sent to us at least 72 hours prior to the vessel sailing. If the information is not filed timely or is inaccurate, you are held liable, and the penalty for a late filing is $5,000 and an incorrect filing is $10,000. So potentially you could be looking at a $10,000 penalty. Always request copies of all documentation before the trophies are exported, especially if there are any CITES species in the shipment. We always request copies in advance so that we may review the documentation for errors. You should also review and advise if there are any inaccuracies or missing information, especially if there are any of your species missing. It's much easier to correct errors before shipping to avoid seizure, refusal, or re-export by Fish and Wildlife. Corrections cannot be done after arrival in the United States without Fish and Wildlife's permission. They will determine if the correction will be allowed or not. Upon arrival of your trophies at the first U.S. port of unlading, the shipment will be placed on hold by Department of Agriculture. They will review to verify if a USDA-approved establishment is required to reprocess the shipment in the States. They will also inspect the wood packaging. There are international standards for all wood packing called IPPC standards. Solid wood packing must meet certain criteria and requires a stamped logo indicating the method of treatment of the wood, country of origin, and also the registration number of the company that treated the wood. If the stamp is missing or not visible, the entire shipment will be refused and re-exported back to origin by the Department of Agriculture. Some ports have a different order of processing, and the agriculture inspection is performed last. Generally, the order of processing by government agency once your trophies arrive at a Fish and Wildlife designated port of entry are, first, Department of Agriculture. If your shipment contains species that require Centers for Disease Control or U.S. Public Health Services release, that's done at the initial part of the process as well. Once the shipment is released by Department of Agriculture, then we're able to prepare the declaration for U.S. Fish and Wildlife. The declaration is electronically transmitted. However, we also have to present a hard copy package which includes the declaration, all of the original documentation, as well as multiple duplicate packages. The declaration information includes a breakdown by species, pieces, value, country of origin, the exporter's name and address, cargo location, and proper coding. Depending on the port, the process time is usually between 3 and 10 business days. The next agency involved is U.S. Customs and Border Protection. All of the same documentation is presented to them as Fish and Wildlife, except that we have a different process and different declarations. All of the items are reported on a Customs Form 3461, which includes the harmonized tariff classification by product, the manufacturer shipper information, arrival information, values, and other data required for a cargo release. A Customs Form 7501, or entry summary, is also filed, which shows the classification numbers and the duty computation. Although trophies are duty-free, reporting requirements within the time limits mandated by law are processed the same as dutiable goods. Each agency requires certain packaging order of documentation for presentation. The process can be quite time-consuming and involves aspects that are not seen by the clients, such as automated manifest information. But all of these things are necessary just to get a release so that we can ship your trophies for you or that you can pick them up. Your trophy may be physically inspected by any or all of the government agencies involved. None are performed at the same time, and certain ports require an appointment and one of our company representatives must meet an officer to open all of the crates, take the contents out for their inspection. After releases are received by all of the government agencies, we'll notify you for payment and confirm arrangements for pickup or delivery to your desired destination. So from the time that you book your hunt all the way through to your trophies are delivered to your U.S. taxidermist or your resident, these are the charges that you should have expected to pay. Payment for the hunt, permits and fees, taxidermy or dip and pack costs, air or ocean transportation fees, export documentation, foreign trucking fees and crating, U.S. Customs brokerage service fees, which include Fish and Wildlife entry, customs entry, local U.S. charges paid to the airline or ocean carrier, delivery and handling. You may also have accrued some storage charges while your shipment was pending release by all of the government agencies. If your shipment contains CITES species, we also have to pay to U.S. Fish and Wildlife their premium inspection fees for CITES animals. We appreciate and welcome your comments regarding our service as well as our website. Service is all we have to offer, and we strive to improve in any way possible. Please let us know if you're pleased with our service, and especially if one of our agents deserves recognition for a job well done. We also want to hear if you have experienced any problems. This is very important to us. We can only improve if we're aware of problems, and your feedback can help us to serve you and our other clients more efficiently. Please always feel free to call any of our offices for assistance. Thank you for visiting us, and we wish you a successful hunt and safe travels. Thank you.